Hey folks, Crazy Clever 80 here again. And this time we're going to look at game number 18 in our 20 from 1990 series. And this is part of the famed Space Invaders franchise. This follows Space Invaders Part II, and Return of the Invaders. And this is called Super Space Invaders 91. This was, of course, created by Taito. This was created for their, I believe, F2 arcade board. This, from what I can tell, was not really seen much in arcades. I'd never seen it. But it might have gotten a much more recognizable port for the Sega Genesis, and that might be where a lot of people first heard of this. But this is a very, very good entry. There are a whole bunch of new power-ups that you can collect. Power-ups that are for your ship, and also power-ups that are for your main shot, and also power-ups that you can activate with the secondary button. There is a regular fire button, and there is a second button that fires that secondary shot. And there are all sorts of weird, different enemy formations. Some of the secondary weapons are really, really, really cool and can really waste a whole bunch of the enemy formation. Now, unlike previous entries in the Space Invaders series, I don't know about all of them. I think all of them. If an invader reaches the bottom of the screen and touches down in this entry, you will not get a game over. You will just lose a life. And you do not lose a life automatically. And there is one of the power-ups I was using. And yeah, you get the power-ups from the UFO. There's even a time stop. Oops, I can't reach the invaders on the far right. It'll wear off in a little bit. Each special power-up that you get that requires the secondary button will have a life meter at the center at the bottom. And you will not die immediately when you get hit. You have a bit of a shield. And it is on the far bottom left. And it has a little blue sections to it. And when that runs out, then when you get one more hit, you will die. I love that power up there. That's another one that you use the secondary button, and it can waste a whole formation if timed right. Now there are some interesting little behaviors for the invaders. Some of them will puff up when you destroy them, and you have to hit them with a bunch of extra hits. I think that is my favorite one, my favorite weapon power-up. The settings will change after, I think, like a handful of stages. There are a total of, I think it was 43 stages in all, or rounds, and we'll look at all of them. You can play two-player simultaneous play in this game. And if that wasn't shown in the attract mode, we'll look at that a little bit later. As is in previous Space Invaders series, or Space Invaders entries in this franchise, there will be shots fired from the enemy, and some of them you can take out with your own shots. Some of them you cannot. And the look of the shots can change over the course of the game, and you won't know for sure whether they can be stopped until you try to fire at them. But enemies will change behaviors over the game. They might have different formations. They might do different things. Ah, crap! Yeah, he ran into me. I lost a life. there will be bonus stages in this game, and we will play a game of cattle mutilation. The mutilation means the UFOs that try to capture the cows that you're trying to protect. They will take them away and eventually mutilate them, rather than Earth people mutilating the cows for steak or ground beef or whatever. But yeah, try to protect the cows. Try not to shoot the cows if the UFOs grab them, because you will get a nice perfect bonus if you save all the cows. And you see a little thank you notice from the cow if you save them. Yeah, that's where you get some really good points, is successfully completing the bonus stages and saving all the cows. But yeah, there will be some interesting different formations. Note that the power-ups come in Arkanoid capsules from the game Arkanoid. There will be one power-up that lets you get those bunkers from the original game, and they can kill the invaders that run into them. Yeah, I like the I think it was called Fire Flower power-up, and the one that has those little swirling tracers or whatever that is that we just saw. Those are my favorite power-ups, and those are secondary button generated. You will get the opportunity to continue, but I chose not to here. That is Super Space Invaders 91. This game is also called Majestic 12, The Space Invaders Part IV. But I think only in Japan. For most, it is known as Super Space Invaders 91. And this was not actually released in 1981. It was released in 1990. Late 1990, I think. But we are going to pick up where I left off. Yeah, the shape of the bullets that you can shoot, that you can cancel out, or the bullets that you can't cancel out, they change shape through the course of the game, and you might not know which bullet does what. But that UFO is always the way that you get those Arkanoid power-up capsules. There's another secondary button activated power-up. It's a wave, and again, we're just going to see snippets from now on of the remainder of the levels. There will be boss fights, which I might have mentioned, and there is one boss, and it will fire lasers that do certain things, and you can get the power-ups from the UFOs to make the boss fight more simple. I put on infinite shields cheat. Even with the infinite shields cheat, you can still die if an invader gets to the bottom and touches down. If you get a power-up for a stage, it will not... It depends on what it is. It might not carry over to the next stage. And on this stage, we've got asteroids that you need to shoot, and its particles can hit you. Just kind of cool different stages, different arrangements of enemies, different types of enemies, different behaviors of the enemies. See, there's some funky patterns to them now. But the same thing, eventually they'll try to touch down at the bottom and make you lose a life. There is a power-up that gives you an extra shield. Some very colorful different invaders that you end up seeing. This is really a solid entry in the Space Invaders franchise. I like this a little bit better than Return of the Invaders. I wasn't super huge on it. But like in other Space Invaders games, the invaders get faster and faster as you whittle their numbers down. You have to hit this this boss once it separates. You want to hit its body, not its head or whatever you want to call it. So you gotta wait until they separate and then shoot the body. It'll start changing color as you get closer to destroying it. Any opportunity that you get to get that power up, definitely try to take it, because it can definitely make the stage much easier. And I got the time stop power up at the end, but I didn't really need it, so the stage ended. Yeah, there's some interesting invaders that you end up seeing on the later stages. And now we have a new behavior. The enemies will come down to the bottom row. That's just to psych you out. Boy, look at all the firepower. Jiminy Christmas. That's just to psych you out. The invaders coming low. They will go back up. But yeah, we're just going to see snippets of the remainder of the rounds. And we'll eventually see more boss fights. I think there's only 2 total cattle mutilation bonus stages, and they both play the exact same. And this boss you need to shoot the center of. You have to watch out for that kind of boomerang, spiky projectile. You move out of the way and then you move back, otherwise it'll hit you. Yeah, I never saw this in arcades. I'd never heard of it until the Sega Genesis port. I think it had a slightly different name. It was like maybe just Super Space Invaders instead of Super Space Invaders 91. These weird invaders here, they kind of remind me, I think there was an Odyssey 2 Space Invaders type of game, and it had those same shaped enemies, like triangles and circles. But yeah, those bunkers are very useful. They make the enemies die when they run into them. The different power-ups that I know of, there is a T, and that is time stop, and it makes a big butterfly appear for some damn reason. It's weird. But the time stops for a while, and you can kill as many enemies as you can real quick. And then there's one that's the letter F, and that makes like fire rings, or maybe it's called fire flower. That's very useful. That is a secondary button power-up. And then there is an L, and that is a secondary power-up, and that is the Buster Laser. Shoots a straight beam that can take out a column of invaders. And then there is an S, and that is Shield Up, and that gives you an extra shield on your shield meter at the bottom left. I have it filled up because I put on a cheat. And then there is an A, and that is for armor, and that is the bunkers. That will make the bunkers appear, the 4 ones. And then there is an H, which is the secondary weapon hyper laser. And I think that's the one that fires straight up and can take out a bunch of enemies in a column. Or no, maybe that was the Buster Laser. And then there's one called Destroy Beam, And that is a secondary weapon. And now we're going to the next cattle mutilation bonus stage. And like I mentioned, you can accidentally shoot a cow that they're trying to carry off. And I think it says like ouch or something. Or it moos. This is a very funny bonus stage. Some cool black humor touches in this game. You want to shoot the side of the UFO as it's carrying off the cow to make the cow fall down. The cow won't fall to its death. It'll just land safely on the ground. But yeah, try to get it perfect on that bonus stage. Yeah, this type of secondary weapon is very nice to have. And remember, it has a timed lifespan, and you'll see it start to go down bit by bit until you use it, and then that takes off a lot more chunk from that life bar. But use it while you got it. Use it multiple times if you can. Yeah, some very interesting formations by some of these invaders here. Yeah, you don't have to wait until the formation is all in place, as it like bounces down towards you or whatever. Just shoot like crazy. Wipe out as many of those buggers as you can. And we're scooting forward just to see snippets of the remainders of the rounds. But there are a total of 43. And there might have been a different amount in the Sega Genesis port. I don't think I've played the Sega Genesis port. I don't know what all the differences would be. Eventually we will have invaders wrap over from one side of the screen to the other. They will still descend a little bit, you know, towards you or towards the ground to try to kill you when they reach the bottom. Some interesting pattern movements. I dig the changing of the backgrounds just to liven things up a little bit. Outer space or over a canyon or over a lava bed or whatever. Note that the UFOs will change shape or change appearance. Yeah, I liked this entry. I remember when the original came out. I was 7 years old. Really took the world by storm. It was created by Taito, but licensed to Midway in the U.S. Though the Taito cabinet was also seen in the U.S., and I saw it at a movie theater lobby. There will be a final boss on the final round 43, and we'll look at that a little bit later. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I have to work, and that's okay. We're not going to have a full day. I'll just get done. Get my basic job done, maybe do a couple extra detail things or something. And here is can't remember if this was the second to last boss of the game. But you can destroy his arms before you destroy his body, and watch out for that big beam, and watch out for the hands that reach out. I destroyed the hands, and then I I destroyed the rest of them. I didn't really pay attention to how much points you get for destroying a boss. Probably not that much. Like I said before, the bulk of the scoring, or the best points that you can get in the game, is from getting a perfect in the bonus stage, cattle mutilation. Again, I think it's funny that they call it cattle mutilation, like the UFOs will mutilate the cattle, which was kind of an urban legend, I guess. But it's the humans that mutilate the cattle for ground beef or steak or whatever. Got half a steak sitting in the freezer. Made some really yummy steak quesadillas recently. And here is the final stage, or the final round, round 43, and we'll see the final boss. And it's a giant invader, and he spits out other invaders to harass you while he's trying to avoid getting shot by you. Yeah, the firepower starts getting heavy by this point. Goodness, you can eventually waste the decoys that he's shooting out, but you really want to try to keep hitting him when you can. Could really use a time stop right here. Really don't know what the hell the butterfly has to do with anything when you utilize the time stop. Probably one of the programmers is obsessed with butterflies or something weird. Alright, just die already. There we go. And that is Super Space Invaders 91. Also known as Majestic 12, the Space Invaders Part 4, and I don't know what Majestic 12 is supposed to mean. There's certainly more than 12 invaders, so I have no idea what that's about. And there is the ending, and you get to put in your initials. But that is Super Space Invaders 91, created by Taito, and it is the 4th game in the Space Invaders series. And we will see a little bit of 2-player simultaneous action. I will control both ships with the same control scheme. And we both have infinite shields. I like the initial sound effects inclusion here. Yeah, use up those power-ups while you got them. But that was Super Space Invaders 91 by Taito, the 4th game in the Space Invaders series. Game number 18. Well, I thank you for watching. I hope you join me soon for game number 17. Bye-bye, folks.